All right. Welcome everyone to the Kured Dev Meeting. Today is the 27th of September. Art, I haven't seen you in these meetings before. Maybe you want to say a couple of words, what your interest in Kured is.
Sure. Yeah, so I'm with the CX team. I'm a consulting reliability engineer, and I just wanted to see you, get a feel for what you guys are doing and see what this meeting is showcasing.
Excellent.
Welcome.
Yeah, this is a meeting we're having with the Kured community. So, it's not just Weaveworks people on the call. Basically, we extended the maintenance of the project, and yeah, I'll just give you a link to our agenda. Sorry, like Zoom is a really bad day today over here. Yeah, here we go. Cool. Okay. I'm just reading over the notes from last time we met 4 weeks ago. And basically, this is still a lot about getting the release out. Did any one of you have time? Like, I think Christian, you had a look at this. I know. I think the biggest blocker right now is still to move to the Kubernetes 1. What was it? 21.
It was 21, yes.
The dependencies.
Yeah, I opened the PR, but I didn't get it working, unfortunately.
Okay, so how can we help?
The problem is that I think the drain or the uncardon call is crashing with a sigenv.
Oh, nice.
Yes. I saw this in my private cluster in the logs, and the rebooted node didn't come up again after that.
Yeah, I was able to.
Uncardon.
Yeah, I was able to confirm it. So it was basically just bringing up Minikube and then deploying the image.
Okay, I'm sorry I didn't get the chance to have a look at this yet. It's been quite busy couple of months, I should say, since the new job. So I can't promise anything, but I should probably have a look because I wrote that part, I guess.
I can definitely promise I'll spend time today reproing it, and once I repro it, I'll help anybody else who wants to repro it. I would imagine it's not going to be that difficult. It may be that a change in the Kubernetes client needs some updates on our side, on the Kured side. Hopefully it's that simple. Been working for a long time, so it should just be code hygiene.
I carefully read through the changelog, but I didn't find anything, but maybe I oversee something.
Well, the fact that it's panicking hopefully makes it slightly easy to locate what's going on and compare the old, the old working version with this new change. See what we're doing differently on the Kured side. So I'll just post what I find in Slack.
That sounds nice. I didn't want to work until midnight today, so.
Yeah, my day's just starting, so only fair. I'll pass the baton off to you guys tomorrow morning.
Okay.
So yeah, we went from 20.5 to 21.4, and I just saw there is a 21.5 that just came out. So, but yeah, I think this would have been like big news if there was like a crasher in the libraries that was fixed. It still might be worth trying this out as well.
Well, the thing is that the way that it works is I know you guys probably know about this. You import the libraries, but the code on our side, I don't think has changed. And so it's possible that there was a deprecation like 6 or 7 versions ago, and it's not until 121 that it's actually, the old usage no longer works. So it can be hard to track down like in a change log where breaking changes are introduced. And especially if things are deprecated for like the future, people can forget to update you. They'll say, oh, we updated the release notes in 1.13, so everybody knows. And then the change actually happened in 121 and nobody's still around who did that deprecation. So it can sort of sneak in there.
So one of the things that could be done is to check on the kubectl, kubectl, kube control, however you call it, command to, and basically with the source code, you try to find where it's using that kubectl library, I mean module, right? And then see how the call is made and compare that with our call. I think it's good that we do it generally because we want to be in sync with the expectations of the kubectl command, right? The reason why, so Art, this way you were informed about how we arrived to having this kind of code that is kind of reproducing the same command as kube control. The idea was that we had our image that contains kube control and all the rest, and basically it made the whole image for QD far bigger than it should be. Basically, it was having like 30 megabytes on top, which was completely not necessary. And so we just removed the whole binary and all it was necessary, and we've produced a new image that is more streamlined, for which we only bring the necessary bits for us for QD. And so that is the story behind it.
That is a perfect justification. I have a tool that does the same thing that didn't do that work. And it includes the kubectl binary, and I can concur that it makes things really big. I'm gonna see how big is our image.
Maybe it was 50, maybe it was 30, I don't remember. Maybe it was only 15, but it seemed like for a client, it was too big. So this is why we basically moved to have this Go module included into our code. But the problem with that is that we need to bump it on a regular basis, but also not only bump the client version, but also bump the code itself. So generally,
yeah, that's right. By the advantage you have by using kubectl is generally the kubectl maintainers will work with the API maintainer. So kubectl interface very rarely changes. So you can sort of like get that for free, so to speak. But it's not for free because it's very big. So I just pulled an image, and by using kubectl, you're going to have like, so my image is actually a gig, but it also includes the Azure CLI packages, the command line packages. So you're doing things the right way. We're doing things the right way by using the client libraries.
Yeah, and
especially for a daemon set, because that has to be pulled on every single node when you install it. So if you had like 200 or 300 megabytes and you have a 500 node cluster, you know, your cloud provider is not going to be happy with you.
Yeah, I think, well, I think that we're not in a place where we need to roll back into using the binary. I think that it could be maybe a simple fix. And with the amount of versions that the amount of QD we've released with that kind of new code, I think it's perfectly fine. I think this is the second time that we have an issue. The first one is we needed to pass a context. We could have been empty. It was like a 1 minute change. So I think this one might be a little bit more tricky, but it's still okay. And if there are people that are inclined to know more about how our code works, but also how kubectl works, it's also good, right? It's brings people closer to communities. So I think it's a good thing.
Is this directed towards or targeted towards patching and upgrades to give the ability to have a more graceful reboot?
Correct. It's to cordon and uncordon the nodes. So it's, I mean, changing the scheduling. So it's makes it nice, right?
Right. So it's a regimented or a it does it in sequential through each node. Is that what it is?
So
not sequential, but one at a time or n at a time.
Well, one at a time.
yes.
And are you testing this on Minikube, or you test this in actual Azure or in these different cloud environments, or is that?
So in QD, we have our CI, which is on GitHub Actions. And this is using kind.
Oh, okay.
We need kind to update version of Kubernetes before we can release for the next version of Kubernetes. We have historically documented how it's running on Minikube on top of kind. So if you are using Minikube, you have a solution there for you too. But I think that there are many people that are running in different ways in the past. So we've seen people using Amazon, Azure. So it's been tested by the community, but it's I would say it's the best effort.
Right.
I'd say the latest part. Christian, I'm not sure how you're running the Helm charts, how you were running the Helm chart testing before we were doing the Helm chart testing with kind.
On my local cluster, just I tested the Helm chart, so nothing special.
Okay.
Yeah, before we
I have some holistic tests that require Kured, so I'll just build an image, upload it to Docker Hub or something like that, and then just run the tests pointing to that image. That'll be the easiest way for me to test it. So it'll be a little bit more, it'll be running in the cloud, so to speak. But I think a Minikube repro is also valid if we can get it.
Yeah, what I usually do before releases is that I deploy it in our dev cluster, so the Weaveworks dev cluster, and then I just go into Weave Cloud and trigger a reboot manually, and just make sure that things come up safely again. So I think the way we've set it up is that new images in the dev builds from master or main now, they end up in the dev cluster automatically. So they get a fair bit of mileage before we do a release.
So this is running in the production Weaveworks cloud?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. It's used fairly widely. That's why it was important to me as a community manager to get more maintainers involved in the project again, because it was started by Adam Harrison a while ago, who at some stage moved on. So we basically took up where he left off.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see a lot of mention of this in other places, but obviously it's something that's really an important utility or component.
Sure. Yeah. One thing, Jean-Philippe, which you mentioned earlier, was this one upgrade. I can't remember which Kubernetes version it was, where they introduced the context we had to pass. I was wondering if this could be the issue that you're facing here, because we basically set it to context.todo, which doesn't say a whole lot. It's basically just a placeholder for you to figure out the context you're passing around the entire time. So I'm wondering if this is something we should take a look at. But I'm not sure if this is triggering the issue right now. It might be just a separate thing to do at some stage.
I'm sorry, I haven't read I'd say the recent code of kubectl. It makes it hard for me to know what's and I haven't seen the issue yet, except what's documented in the pull request. I can't really help now.
My read on it was that the context change he was talking about earlier was just happened to be the breaking change before. So that's just like when someone who maintains an API library revs a version and they introduce a new change where they now are tracking context throughout a transaction or something. And so you need to pass in that context object when you're using those exportable functions, starting with that version. Does something like that happen, Jean-Philippe?
I really don't know, but I would expect that a bump in a Go module that is, I'd say, intrusive would have at least a major bump, because now it's, I'd say if you're using Semver, it would make sense to bump major instead of minor for breaking changes. So
Yeah, but we know Kubernetes will never do that. It'll
I know.
2.0 will probably happen in our grandchildren's lifetime. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. So really, I haven't checked. So I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Okay, yeah, so regarding the release, as far as I can see, this is the really big one. Apart from that, there's, as far as I know, only just small things we would need to do in a Helm chart release afterwards. So we're actually pretty close. Is that correct reading, or is there more we need to do aside from some testing?
Yeah, I think the only interesting change in the release is the extra Kubernetes version support. So I think this is really it. I think there were some PRs merged, but there wasn't a ton of change between this and the last release.
Yeah, okay, that reminds me, somebody will need to write a bit of a change log of sorts, or like a small release announcement. It is actually a bunch of changes. Now I'm just looking. Although it's a lot of Helm chart.
Did we use the milestone to point to that?
Sorry, I was just reading the diff since 1.7. But yeah, I mean, if you all can help fix the crasher, I'm happy to write the announce to just do additional testing and write the announcement. I'm happy to do that.
Yeah, it's, I mean, Art, so that you know, it's I think that one of the most important thing in that testing that Daniel is doing is really doing it on a cluster that has a very specific setup. So I would say the CI is testing many things, but it's not perfect. So it's we're always happy to have more tests, and I'd say the pre-production, I'm not sure how you call it, cluster in Weaveworks is very important to test purely.
What about support for a second registry?
Yes. Yes. So I have access to the QAO thing now. As far as I know, we would just need to basically write the change the, or add like an additional Docker push command in the action. I mean, let's try it out. Let's just do that. And if it fails because we need some secrets, I'll help figure that out.
Yeah, great.
So, but theoretically, it should just work. It took a while. Sorry about that.
Great.
mean, if you want, we can maybe get together tomorrow and figure this out. In the EU mornings sometime.
Problem.
Excellent. Okay, do we have anything else?
No, I didn't have much to say. Hence, again, I hope that it will. I'll have eventually more time to see you folks and progress on this.
Yeah, entirely understood. Like moving into a new job always is can be a little nerve-wracking at times. So no worries. All right. If that's all, I think we can just get together tomorrow again, and maybe we'll have some ideas of where the issue is coming from. If not, maybe we can just reach out to upstream Kubernetes folks and say, like, you broke our project, you know, we need somebody to help us fix this. Yeah,
An
or at least
experience
get some pointers.
We'll get in line.
Yeah. Super. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks a lot, everyone. It's great to see you.
Thanks again for organizing, Daniel.
Yeah, no worries. Take care.
Bye.
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 Bye, everyone.